All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Aloha Press Show. My name is JC out here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Joined today by my co-host Jeff. How we doing, buddy?
Happy to be alive. Made it through a blizzard. Got to play golf again today. Now it's beautiful here. It's a little chilly, but hey, I'm happy to be here and talk some golf because the Players this weekend was actually a really good tournament to watch.
It absolutely was. I mean, I don't know if it was as good as you hanging out at the Tahoe, watching some of the scenic views of Edgewood, which we'll be revisiting here in late October of 2021. But yeah, the Players Championship, it's here. It's done. It's over with. Hopefully you guys had a great time. The marketing campaign is absolutely over with. They have a new addition to put on the trophy. The fifth major. It's here. I mean, it's Justin Thomas wins the Players Championship. Jeff, I mean, first takeaways as this week unfolded. I'm particularly very excited that it's over with because I don't have to listen to their stupid banter anymore. But I thought it was a good event.
Honestly, I placed some money on a bet. My guy didn't win. We'll talk about that later as well. But I'm actually happy for Justin Thomas. I really am. He's kind of got that killer instinct when he gets a chance to come from behind and he gets a taste of the lead on a Sunday. That guy's tough to beat, and he hit some really good golf shots on Sunday. And he beat two of the best guys that are playing the best right now in Bryson and Westwood. I mean, 2 weeks in a row they've been at the top, and he came and took it to him. And got his 14th win. I didn't think that guy had 14 wins already at his age, 28 years old. That's really good in this era of golf.
And I think it's known that I'm not a huge fan of Justin Thomas just because of some of his antics, and not even his most recent antics with some of the shit that he said out in Hawaii. But and don't get me wrong, like I get it. His grandfather just passed away, but good God, do we have to hear about all this shit over and over and over? I mean, the Justin Thomas, he's one of the greatest guys, currently playing. He's ranked third in the world. I give it to him. He had a great Sunday. But looking back, I mean, Bryson DeChambeau and Lee Westwood totally choked and absolutely gave him this fucking tournament. I mean, Lee Westwood, just talk about real shortly, hole 17, he three putts. He fucking three putts gives it away. I don't know, Jeff. I'm pretty fired up about it. Justin Thomas is one of those guys who, good for him. He got the 14th victory, which is pretty neat. Adds to his resume. They were bantering on Golf Channel, NBC, talking about how him, Hendrik Stenson, Roy McIlroy, and Tiger Woods all have these certain feats of a Players Championship, a major championship, and like a FedEx Cup trophy. And at the end of the day, what's a bigger nightmare for the PGA Tour marketing-wise? Either the guy who literally pissed off an entire population or the guy who literally is promoting the opposite type brand with UPS?
Well, it's funny because, I mean, when you look at Patrick Reed and Justin Thomas right now, those guys can't catch a sponsorship to save their life, yet they're winning most of the golf tournaments that we're watching. So it is a nightmare for them. And then, yeah, you got your UPS boys, going against FedEx. FedEx Cup, whatever. It might as well be the UPS Cup now. At least they're wearing better colors because when Louis Oosthuizen was sporting UPS, he was always wearing that ugly brown. At least Lee comes out with a nice little vest, blue. So it's okay. But here's the thing. When you talked about it a little bit earlier, Bryson and Lee gave him this tournament. Partially true, I think. He played well on Sunday. Do I think that those guys both should have won? Yes, because they choked. Bryson, a simple three putt and a not a topped ball in the water on 4, and he wins the tournament. I mean, we're just playing the way he played. So, and that killed me because I ran around the casinos drunk as you know what on Saturday night trying to find a sports book that would take my bet. And I put all the money on Bryson to win. And to see him come up short like that, it hurt. It hurt.
It definitely did. I mean, I can only imagine it hurt your pocketbook, but also, I mean, given the opportunity Lee Westwood has, I mean, he's going to be a top 20 golfer in the world here shortly. I mean, he's playing incredible golf, and God, when you put yourself in those opportunities, you got to take advantage of them, and you cannot hit just ginormous slices off the golf tee, specifically on hole 4 into just no man's land. And then just hit some horrible shots. Could not catch a break to save his life there on Sunday.
Here's the thing. I think Lee Westwood, I think he's in a state right now of his game and his life. He honestly doesn't care that he's getting second places. He's getting a lot of publicity. He's doing well. He's going to kick his fiance, soon to be wife, off the bag here shortly. He's going to have his son caddy for him, I think, come Augusta. That guy's just living the life. He's dropped a few pounds. He's getting back in shape. That's what happens when you're, getting close to 50 and you're working on a marriage or, second marriage. I don't know what it is for him. But hey, more credit to him. He hit some great shots out of the bunker. He could have fallen apart and easily shot over par. Like you said, he came battle back, made that putt on 18 that secured him a good $500,000 more than Bryson, just by making that putt. Bryson slipped out. So I'm all about Lee Westwood. Do I think he's going to play good this next week? No, he's saving for the Masters.
Well, in Lee Westwood's post-round interview, he said he had trouble, having his feet underneath him. And it brings me back to our last podcast. And I think Lee Westwood could have used some of our advice when it comes to making your tee time the following day when you've had a few cocktails. I think Lee Westwood had a few too many glasses of wine Saturday night. Was a little shaky on the tee box come hole one, because professional golfers do not hit just ginormous slap slices like he did. But he did battle back. He made some incredible putts. It was a good showing for Lee Westwood. Not only, just because he was going to secure a second place victory over Bryson and win that extra $600,000. He cashed in $2.6 million in the last 2 weeks. His life isn't that bad. Like he's doing pretty well.
No, I mean, and you just ask the old timers. Ask the old timers and say, hey, look, 2 weeks in a row, you're going to get second place. You're not going to win. You're going to be the first loser, but you're going to make this much money. And they're going to be like, you've got to be kidding me. Right? That guy's life is amazing. And the publicity he's getting, like his brand, his name is resurrected right now. Like he doesn't ever need to go back to the European tour. He just needs to stay on the PGA tour, ride this hot streak, go play the freaking, the senior events and when he turns 50 and call it good. Right off into the sunset. Will he play well going forward? I mean, he's 18-1 this coming week. But who knows? I'm all about it though. Him and Bryson 2 weeks in a row, the showdown.
In my eyes, pretty good TV. And especially because, Thursday, Friday, you had so many guys that just absolutely blew up. Conditions were tough on Thursday. They softened them up on Friday, lowered the scores a little bit, out at this championship. And you really had several guys that just were not involved, on Saturday and Sunday. And JT put an incredible round together. Saturday at one point in time, I'm following the leaderboard, and sure enough, JT's all of a sudden like 2 back. And I'm like, what the hell? I mean, goes out there and shoots 64. I mean, pretty incredible to put himself in a position like that. JT, I mean, again, we're not big fans of him, but it's he's one of those guys that, God, he just keeps winning. Like he never stops. He doesn't go through these streaks of, like a Brooks or like a Jordan Spieth or even a Rory McIlroy. He just consistently is always in the mix, and he's always talked about. I mean, hell, he almost won at Waste Management. He almost won in Hawaii. It's a guy who's hard not to bet against.
Well, you're right. I mean, since 2015 when he got his first win, he's won 14 times in 6 years. That's ridiculously good, especially given this day and age in golf and the amount of talent that's out there. You mentioned a name that I've been riding lately, and that's Rory McIlroy. And it's kind of disheartening, when you got a big tournament like this. The guy's, he's the reigning champ from 2 years ago because of COVID, and he comes out and fires a 79 to start the tournament, and I'm out of my first bet is on. Like I had to run to Tahoe to make another bet because my first bet is already gone on day one. He almost posted an 80. What happened?
Roy McIlroy is the wheels have fallen off. I don't know if it's his new duties as PGA Tour Player Association, chairman, or the amount of interviews or the amount of sound bites he's got to produce for the PGA Tour to produce this Players Championship and present this product for everyone out there. His golf game is just not very good. But at the same time, like these last couple of weeks, he's been making top tens. It's just today or last week, I mean, the wheels absolutely fell off the Players Championship. And we're a golf course, you can't miss left often. he had some just rips into those beautiful bodies of water out at TPC Sawgrass.
Well, hey, I'm glad at least last week it was kind of the unknown. You know, he was pouty and he was making comments to the media, and we didn't know really what it was about. You were talking about maybe a girlfriend, you know, or something else, or he's firing his caddy. Now at least we know he was chasing Bryson. He was chasing speed. He was chasing distance, and it fucked up his game. I hope he can come back from it. Because here's the thing: look at Lee Westwood. You don't need to hit it Bryson distance to be able to compete on the PGA Tour. You don't. He can do his thing, hit it 320, hit it 330. You don't need to hit it 340, 350, 360. So I hope he gets back to it. I hope he gets solid again, and hopefully he finds it within 2 weeks so that he can have a chance at Augusta, you know, to get the career Grand Slam. Because I kind of called that last week. I was hoping for it, but it's not looking promising right now.
It's definitely not. And the thing that I wanted to touch on with Bryson was I think the reason why Bryson did not win this week is because he didn't stick to his game plan. Bryson DeChambeau, God, he tuned that driver back and was just bunting it down in the fairway. And I just think if that guy consistently just hits driver more often, or just hits 6-iron more often and doesn't hit these little bunts with this driver, I think he's celebrating a second victory and getting his first Players Championship. I don't think his game plan this week was his best, like mental game plan to actually get a victory, knowing his, you know, everything that he does to play and change his body. All of a sudden now he's tuning it back to fit the golf course. And I just don't think that was a good decision.
I just think that he is actually probably the best player in the world right now. I really do, because he played terrible on Sunday and still found a way to get up and stick around the top of the leaderboard and have a chance. I mean, he's a 3-putt away and a putt going in on 18 from tying and going to a playoff. And he played absolutely terrible. I mean, he was atrocious. He had a great 6 on number 4 after hitting a top, something that, I mean, you can't even imagine him doing. I think he's going to figure it out. I think he's going to win a couple more times this year. He might even win at Augusta. You know, he is that good. He's that mechanical, I should say, because he's the type of guy that, besides that top shot, like, he's not going to hit really bad shots. You wouldn't think.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of bad shots this week, and JT, don't get me wrong. I mean, he hit some really cool looking shots. It was cool to see him be able to work the ball both ways. And the shot on 18, Jeff, I mean, 5-wood, just this rope hook. I mean, you watch the video, you watch it live, and you realize, like, JT got away with one there and could have easily made 5, could have easily made double if he didn't get that lucky bounce on the 18th fairway.
Oh, hey, that ball 9 times out of 10 is kicking left and is in the water, and Lee Westwood's your winner. Somehow it was hooking right to left. It hit that little slope. It kicked kind of right and stayed in, and he ended up having like 125, 124 in, like a little wedge. But hey, those are the breaks you need to win. Obviously, he got quite a few during the week. Some of the other guys didn't. Hey, he's a Players Champion. That's all I know. He's a major champion and a Players Champion. So I give him all the credit. Do I wish it didn't happen? Absolutely, because obviously the pocketbook would be a little healthier right now. But hey, it's all right.
That's okay. But I mean, there's a few guys that hit some not great shots, and they just kept pumping it out there. I mean, hole 17, I again stated I was not a big fan of, just the nonsense that it goes around it. But the green, they dried that thing out on Thursday and on Sunday so much that you had a guy withdraw from the fucking tournament. Kevin Na dumps 3 in the water and goes, "I'm done. I'm out." Shoots 81 and is like, "No thanks." And I mean, and he wasn't the only one that put up some big scores on Thursday and Friday, specifically around hole 17. I mean, hell, Dustin Johnson on Saturday hits the flagstick and ricochets into the pond. It just some crazy events surrounding hole 17.
That shot Dustin hit the flagstick was kind of reminiscent of when Tiger hit the flagstick at Augusta and it went back into the water. Not like he was going to win anyway. You know, it didn't take him out of contention at that point. But I kind of agree with you. We've talked a lot of shit about 17, and not just last week, but last year. Like, we're just not fans of it. The Island Green was gimmicky. We didn't really care. but drying that green out like they did this year, that hole was very tough. And especially on Sunday, those guys, I mean, they were 25%, maybe 50% could even two putt when they hit it to the middle of the green because you couldn't keep that thing above the hole. So it was a tough hole. It was a difference maker. I think only one guy out of the whole entire, final probably 15, 20 players went at that flag, and that was Brian Harman. He kind of hit that shot that was reminiscent of Ricky Fowler back in the day because nobody even wanted to go at that flag because they thought there's no way you could hold it. It was tough.
It absolutely was. And Brian got so lucky. He landed it in maybe an old divot or something to keep that ball on the green because you looked at that pin placement and just how hard it was, and there was no way to get that thing close. It just, if anything that they did was ruin the excitement what 17 is actually made up of. And when you harden that thing out and you got to keep it consistent with the rest of the holes, like it's almost lacks the excitement like it should have on Thursday when people were just dumping in the water back and forth.
Well, yeah, and Sunday there wasn't really the chance for guys to make birdies there. Like in the past when that green was soft, yeah, it's a wedge and they can go right at it. There wasn't that. It was more like, okay, one, don't hit it in the water because you don't want to make the big number. And then two, I'm just going to put it on the green and try to two putt. And a lot of the guys couldn't do it. I mean, luckily JT and those guys, they made their two putt, but they had to make a 6-8 footer coming back, just to get it done. So it was tough. It was exciting. I enjoyed this week. I really did. I mean, part of the reason is because I was in Tahoe and it's a different beast up there when you're partying and hanging out and watching golf up there, and you got Edgewood, out your window here, and it's drying out and the snow's melting off, and you're thinking about the Aloha Press Classic already. It's not even close to October, and you're ready for it. So it was a great week. We'll get through the Honda Classic next week, and then we got major season starting, and I can't wait.
It's going to be pretty incredible. What did you think about the television coverage this week with the Players Championship? I mean, they had every shot, every video mic'd up, tuned in. You had the ability to pull every golf shot. And one particular golf shot that I saw, Jordan Spieth about tagged, what's his name? Rory
Sabatini.
And then was talking shit about him. And the mics picked it up. And then Jordan Spieth later told a story about Jason Kokrak, where his group had actually hit into Jason 3 times, and Jason Kokrak apparently lost his shit and was yelling and screaming at everyone. I thought the new video and the audio stuff was awesome. I mean, the PGA Tour kind of limited some of that stuff that was released, but I thought it was a really interesting viewing experience.
I liked it too. I really did. Yes, they kept a lot of it from us because they had to issue warnings to their guys beforehand, like, hey, just a friendly reminder, every shot is going to be on camera, everything you say is going to be picked up by audio. Some of the guys even went to Twitter and apologized beforehand, not that they made a difference in the end. But here's the thing, we talked about it last week during Hot or Not. I thought this was going to be a CBS broadcast. I get back to the hotel room Sunday afternoon after a nice little massage, and I'm looking for it and I can't find it. And I got to go back to NBC, and I'm like, I got to watch Paul Azinger again. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible.
Horrible.
He's terrible. Like he drives me nuts.
The only thing that he was talking about is talking about hole 17. He's like, oh, these guys are really, when they get to hole 4, they're thinking about hole 17. It's like, no, I would be thinking about every other hole besides 17, like hole 16 that's surrounded by fucking water, or hole 4, for Bryson's sake. It just, he is just, I don't know if he's losing it, or they're just limiting the amount of words he can put out, because it's the same shit over and over and over, and it is redundant, and it's awful television.
Bones Mackay saves that broadcast. He really does. Bones has a really good insight, obviously, because he caddied there for years with Phil, and he's got the players insight. If he wasn't there, like, helping these guys out and giving the updates of what the actual shot is like, I mean, the announcers always want to make it tougher than it seems just to make these guys look really good. Bones would be like, yeah, no, this is a pretty easy chip. Azinger, get him out of it. Go away. Stop showing him on TV. Hey, put him on like one hole. If you want to keep him on the broadcast, put him on one hole. Let him just talk about that one, memorize it, get some shit down. So at least I know you're telling the truth, dude.
Well, and it's at certain points in time in like sporting history and like some of the greatest moments in golf, some of the greatest things that I've ever seen on television is the announcer not talking. Like it's okay not to fucking say anything. We don't need your expertise or your vision or the things that you did 35 years ago because it's not relative. It's not relative to any of this stuff. It's not relative to the broadcast. The thing that is relevant is like you said, freaking Bones. He is producing relevant content. It's relatable. It really is a better insight. And I think the PJ Tour might go towards more caddies becoming announcers than players. Because these players, good God, they just don't know when to shut up. I mean, Players Championship, it was one of those hot topics that happens every single year. Brando Chambly joined on Twitter and it was just promoting the Players Championship like it's the fifth major championship. And when it's all said and done, I think the PJ Tour, if they weren't shoving this championship down our throat 365 days a year, I think I would consider it a major championship. But not when that's all they talk about. I can't stand this shit. Like, it's hard to get excited about an event when you keep talking about it. Like the master, I haven't seen any Masters information for weeks since they held the last Master. So, I mean, what is your take on the Players Championship becoming a major championship?
I don't think it is. I don't think we need it. I think four of them are just fine. That's the way it's always been. And here's the thing: Jack's record is not based on winning Players Championships as well. Like you can't ever try to say that you're going to add a new major. Like you have the four majors. They mean a hell of a lot more than every other golf tournament. I mean, just the TV coverage, the feel that the fans get, the feel the players get. I can tell you right now, there's no way those players are showing up at Ponte Vedra to go play the players, and they got the same feeling as they got when they walked down Magnolia Lane to go play the Masters. It's just not the same. It's just really not the same. It's a good tournament. It's a big tournament. It's a fuck ton of money. If they didn't pay them a $15 million purse, it wouldn't matter, right? But the more money they give, the more important it is.
Jeff, I got to ask you, did Lee Westwood play last year's Masters or last year's Players Championship?
Fuck no, he didn't.
No, he was at a horse race with his girlfriend. Yeah. So these players aren't. I mean, yes, it's the PGA Tour's championship, and I get it, but it's like calling the Aloha Press Classic a fucking major championship. It's not. You can call it whatever you want. It's a great event when it's all said and done. But the reason why it's the strongest field in golf is because you're paying these fucking guys $15 million to play for a check. And for example, Lee Westwood won more money at the Players than he ever will winning at the Honda Classic.
And here's the thing. If they didn't have the 17th hole and they didn't have Tiger's putt, they didn't have to replay. And if that didn't have the Island Green, it's another tournament. It really is. They have nothing to, there's some cool holes, but that's it. They go off the 17th and they go off the money that they give because it's the Players tournament, whatever. It's not a major.
I completely agree with you. I think it's like if they just stop talking about it like it's a freaking major champion. Like if it's gonna turn into one, just let it happen. Okay. Don't shove it down our throat. And it is what it is. Player Championship. We don't have to see it for another year. I enjoyed the event. To be honest with you, it's one of those events I do get excited about watching. This week with the fans, oh my God. I mean, this week, for whatever reason, felt like golf was back. Like the fans and the herds of people, the surroundings around tee boxes and greens, I thought made a hell of a difference this week.
This was the first week that the fans made a difference in play because you heard guys saying that they legitimately got nervous again. They had the butterflies because the fans were there. They're performing in front of an audience. But you also saw some shots that were affected by the fans. I saw Paul Casey pull one in the water and want to strangle somebody, right? For screaming out or doing something early. And those are the little factors that you didn't have when it was just the guys out there playing golf like it was a muni and it was no big deal skins game. The fans affect the game. They affect the game positively with momentum, and they affect it negatively when they kind of chirp at you or they do things that get you off your game. Hey, we all know you want it quiet when you hit. You really do. You don't want anybody screaming or yelling or camera clicks or whatever it may be. It got a few of the guys this week, and it's nice to see. It's nice to have that back. And as much as some of them complain about it, I'm sure they all loved having them there.
I agree with you, and I think Justin Thomas played into that, and he's your Players Championship, and we're gonna get to see his beautiful face. The lack of sponsors that he has. I wonder if Ralph Lawrence is like, fuck, because he's gonna be plastered over television for the next 30 years, winning that damn championship. They could have easily had some free marketing that had just hung on for another couple months.
What's funny to me though? Yeah, he doesn't have Ralph Lauren or the Polo logo on him right now, but goddamn, his clothes look the exact same. So they just took the stitching off and said, "Hey, you still look like you're gonna go play croquet later. Maybe a little horseshoes, but here's the thing: he's very popular. He had a great week. He got a lot of airtime. So yeah, they're probably wishing they just did a temporary suspension instead of just cutting him. I bet you that."
I agree with you. So with that being said, guys, really appreciate it. This is the Players Championship recap. Do me a favor, if you enjoy our content, hit the subscribe button and like, and we'll see you guys here in the next couple days.